this video, I actually got a three-part question from a subscriber, which I will be discussing in this video, and it has to do in regards to licensing, getting your manager's or administrator's license, what the requirements are for the state to be able to give you that license, etc. So in this video, I'm gonna cover that, and it will give you guys a ton of information in regards of what's required, what's not required, and how to go about it. So make sure to stick around. So let's go ahead and do that. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown me. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out the God Made podcast on most streaming platforms. Also, feel free to go check out LegionAssistedLivingAcademy.com, where I teach how to start your own facility from A to Z. Also, feel free to go and book a one-on-one mentorship call with myself, or book a full day and come spend it with me at LegionAssistedLivingAcademy.com or in the description of this video. And also feel free to go check us out at Valley ALF Ventures on Instagram, or at ValleyALFVentures.com if you are a limited partner looking to passively invest in this space, or if you're an operator looking to potentially lease a facility and expand your operations, or looking to sell your facility. Feel free to reach out to us. We would love to have that conversation with you. And with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. The question actually came from Patrick_Yarukanda. Again, if I mispronounced your last name or mispronounced that, I apologize. But the question is, does Arizona require you to have an administrator before they give you a license to operate? If yes, did you take the administrator certificate yourself? And do they require to have do they require you to have experience in healthcare before they provide you with a license? Question: I know in Nevada you need at least 6 months of experience in healthcare to become an administrator. This is a loaded question, and again, this will apply to probably majority of the states, but like you said, Nevada does require 6 months of experience in healthcare to become an administrator. So each state will have its nuances in regards to what they require. But let me answer the first question in regards to, does Arizona require you to have an administrator before they give you a license to operate? And the answer to that question is yes. You will need to have an administrator or a manager already at the site, at your facility, hired in order to be able to get a license for your facility. So when you put in your application with licensing, they will ask who your manager is going to be, and you need to have that manager ahead of time. Whether that's going to be you, or you hire somebody to be your manager temporarily until you become the manager and get your certificate, or you just hire somebody and pay them temporarily to do that for you, but you'll be doing all the managing yourself, etc. But yes, you will need to have a manager who you will list on your application when you apply for licensing, and they will need to stay as your manager until you get licensed, and even after. And then once you do become your own manager by taking the state test, your current manager will need to put their notification in that they're going to be removing their manager certification, and you will need to give them notice that you're going to be hanging yours there. And that's how that works here in the state of Arizona and in most states. So that answers that first part of that question. So he said, if yes, did you take the administrator certificate yourself? For me personally, yes. And I always recommend that each individual, whether they choose to hire somebody after the fact or an assistant manager, whoever, to help them with the day-to-day. But yes, me personally, I did go get my manager certification right after I got licensed. Like, I actually had somebody come hang their manager certification at the home. I did all the managing until I was able to get my manager certification, which was about 3 months after I was able to get licensed. And then they removed their manager certification. Again, I paid them in order to do that for me, and they came in, looked at all the documentation once a month, a couple times a month, to make sure everything was running smoothly. And then, because again, the liability falls first on the manager and then on the owner, but the manager will take a majority of that liability when or something happens at the facility. So the manager, whoever is going to be helping you until you get licensed, and a little bit afterwards we'll need to make sure that they're coming and taking a look at everything a few times a week, potentially even a few times a month. So just keep that in mind. And then they went on to say, and do they require you to have experience in healthcare before they provide you a license or a certificate? The answer to that question is yes. Here in the state of Arizona, in order to become an assisted living manager, you will be required to show proof that you worked at least 2,080 hours in healthcare. That can range from anything from being a phlebotomist to being a CNA to being a med tech to being a nurse, a doctor, a respiratory therapist, a pharmacist, pharmacy tech, whatever is got anything to do with healthcare as a job title, you will be able to qualify for those 2,080 hours. Again, they will require that your previous employer or current employer will write a letter of pretty much the time that you were there, how long you were full-time, part-time, or even PRN or as needed. So they will require that you submit that and show proof that you actually worked 2,080 hours in healthcare. Now, again, they're not going to require that they show like these pay stubs of all the hours, because most people can't even access all those pay stubs, but they will need to see something from the employer, pretty much the dates that you've worked, the time that you were full-time. So just make sure, if you're here in the state of Arizona, they will require that. In other states, they probably require that too, that you show proof of the amount of time that you worked in healthcare. Like he's saying in Nevada, at least 6 months. Now, does that mean, Arizona is more specific on the amount of hours? The 6 months, could you be part-time and only work 6 months? Does that count? So again, these are all nuanced things that they will look at when it comes to going and getting your manager certification. But I highly, highly suggest and recommend that you do that, just for the fact that you will always have that for when you go and open new locations. You can always just go ahead and incorporate your manager certification. And here in the state of Arizona, they will only allow you to be able to use your manager certification, or allow you to manage only 2 homes under your manager certification. And so keep that in mind. Other states, they may allow you up to 3, 4, 5, 6 homes under just one manager certification. Again, over here, you'll have your original certification that you'll get, but then you would have to apply for a duplicate if you're going to be using it at another separate facility or location. So these are all just very nuanced things that comes with doing all of this. Again, it is just part of what you need to do. It's nothing complex though. It's just a very tedious process to do all of this. But getting your manager certification doesn't take long. They test here in the state of Arizona the first Thursday of every month. For the manager certification, they would require that you go through a manager school, pass that manager school's test, and then submit that all to the state to schedule you for the state manager's test. So again, there's a process, and then if you do it at the first Thursday of the month, you have to wait until the following month when they have their board meeting in order for them to be like, okay, he passed this test, we approve him. So pretty much it takes about a month to do the manager school and then take the test, and then about another month. So about a total of 2 months by the time you can request for a temporary once you know that you've passed, and then they will allow that and approve that. But again, it's all the same. But with all that being said, I hope that this gave you guys some clarification on what's required. Again, this was for state of Arizona, but this is typically in most states how it works when it comes to, there's a bunch of little different nuances, but again, you just ask the right questions and they typically have it all broken down when you go to any of these schools for administrators or managers, and they will let you know what the requirements are. But with all that being said, again, make sure to go check out LegionAssistedLivingAcademy.com. Make sure to go book a one-on-one mentorship call, or go ahead and book a full day with myself if that is something of interest for you. And make sure to go check out BallyALFVentures.com, and I will talk to you all in the next one. God bless.